Well, there ain't but one thing to say about Talladega Superspeedway. It's the biggest and it's the baddest. And we are going to be going around this place 112 laps here in the OB Builders Cup Series for the Deez Lug Nuts Podcast 300 here at Talladega Superspeedway. I'm Eddie Smith, and I'm glad to have y'all with us here tonight. As man, we've got a great race set up for you here. Man, throw all what you know about tracks and cars and stuff out the window. We're super speedway racing tonight, whole different animal. And luckily for us, we don't have the problems that they do in real life. We've got a little bit nicer package. You can get runs, you can push guys, you can go to the top side, you can go to the bottom, middle, anywhere you want to go. Four wide, you want to go four wide, you can do it here and make it work. So we're going to see all the lanes work. No fuel saving. It's not hard to pass. It's very easy to pass if you got the right pusher. So tonight, it's all going to be about teamwork. Who can be the best team to come away with this victory? It's probably my favorite thing about Super Speedway racing, and we're going to be doing it here tonight. Well, thank y'all for joining us. Let's take a look at your point standings. Right now, Alex Coffey with a pretty commanding lead here over Randy Mullins after last week. Matt Cox there with those 2 wins, going to sit right there in third. Tim Wortman Jr. right behind him. Had a great run. Came up a little bit short on pit strategy, but still had a fantastic race last week. But Kyle Holden was the one that grabbed the victory, the checkered flag, and Texas is in the rear view, and now we're at Talladega. And it can all change. If you're back there, if you're Johnny Shade back there in 20th, it can all change for you in a heartbeat as you get up there and get a win, and it can change everything for you. So point standings be damned tonight. It's going to be all over the place, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. Of course, the big one always looming at Talladega. That's something that you're always going to be worried about. Let's take a look at your track information. Talladega Superspeedway, located in Talladega, Alabama, Lincoln, Alabama, whatever you want to call it. It's all in the same place. It's opened in 1969. 175,000 people can pack into that place. 2.66 mile raceway. One of the biggest and the baddest. And I was actually there in real life at the Cup Series on Sunday. And man, what a great time. You know, people, I hear all the podcasts talking about the races, you know, this and that and fuel saving. We don't like this, but when you're there, it don't matter, man. You're out there on the track. You're feeling it. You're seeing the cars go by, and boy, it's a joy. And tonight's going to be a lot of the same way. So we'll see who can come away with the victory here tonight. Let's take a look at your cams. Who we got on cam here tonight? Well, we got quite a few people. We got Barry Sanders, Jeff Taylor, Alex Coffey, Johnny Shade, all providing cams here tonight. Chris Spear will be on there as well. Currently has his muted or turned off, but he is on there. You can see they're all getting their qualifying laps in at the moment. But good to see everybody. Having those cams sure does make a really awesome addition to the broadcast. Well, let's take a look at qualifying at the moment. You can see just how close everybody is. I mean, just 7 1/1000ths of a second here for Ryan Huff on top of the board currently in the moment. Got a few folks on track, but still some left to go. And I'm sure it could change in a heartbeat. Let's take a look at some drivers that have yet to put a lap time. Looks like Shane Davis is just putting a lap time down now, and he's going through 1 and 2 at the moment. Kind of pushing up the track just a little bit. Open setup's interesting. I like the fact that you can have some different settings and kind of play around with it, find some speed, find something somewhere. But it's going to be still pretty close. I don't think we'll see too much disparity as far as setups go. I mean, just comfort, finding that little balance that you like. And you see Shane Davis all the way at the top of the track coming off the corner. This is going to be his first flying lap, so just trying to keep the momentum up on the outside. And then right as you cross the line, going to be right down to the bottom, try to hold it down. Starting to run out of time a little bit here, but about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left as he goes around now. He's going to start his flying lap. Well, let's talk to the winner last week. We're going to bring Kyle Holden up into the booth. Kyle, this is Eddie. You got a copy? Well, we're watching qualifying at the moment, and everybody's super close. You were able to get the win last week really fast at Texas, but this is a completely different game. So tell me, teamwork seems to be the main point for this type of race. Without a team, it's going to be difficult to get those pit strategies just right. Get on and off pit road. You're going to need a group. What y'all's plan tonight? How you feeling about your chances of maybe getting 2 in a row? All right. Well, I mean, we saw the real drivers doing a little bit of fuel saving in the real race. Do you expect to see that much here in this race here tonight?
Anyway, so we're probably going to be pushing. Going to be 3 wide a little bit, getting some big runs out of it, but should be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, good luck tonight, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
And we had him muted, so that's definitely my fault, but that's okay. I'm gonna tell you, he said some really important stuff that the other competitors would love to hear, but you're not gonna hear it. So unfortunately, not gonna happen. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk to some other folks. Let's talk to your points leader. I want to talk to Alex Coffey. And Alex, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you are the points leader, and so, I mean, you're the guy we need to be talking to. I mean, you've been one of the most consistent drivers all season long, but I noticed something, a little bit interesting about you. You got a 0 in that win column. So talk to me. You did win a duel at the beginning of the season, but you got that 0 in the win column. What's the chances tonight that you get in victory lane?
I'd like to say I hope they're high, but I'd be lying to you. I usually don't have good luck at super speedways, so can't say I'm expecting too much, but hopefully, by not expecting much, it'll you know surprise ourselves and be up there at the end. I think just surviving is the main thing.
Well, so I mean, what's the strategy calls like? I mean, what are y'all talking about in your, you don't have to give all the details, but when you work as a team at a place like this, so important. So what's the conversations like? I mean, you got guys wanting to say at the back, say at the front. I mean, it's all kinds of, folks all over the place. What's y'all's idea? How do you feel about it? You want to get up there and race? You want to ride in the back? What's sort of your strategy?
Well, as many people as I hung out in practice, I'm sure my teammates are about the only ones I can rely on right now. So probably just all staying on the same accord, keeping good communication, and you know everybody on the same page of when we need to go, when we need to pit, whatever we need to do. So it'll just be, I think, a lot of teamwork. You see a lot of teams helping each other out pretty big time, hanging guys out and whatnot that ain't a part of the team. So yeah, just trying to keep everybody on the same page, and hopefully we, like I said, will survive and be there at the end.
All
The
right.
more teammates you can have at the end, the better.
All right. Well, there you have it, your points leader, Alex Coffey. I can't say he feels extremely excited about anything. I think he feels probably a little bit nervous, which I totally get for it being Talladega. But I tell you what, we got a grid to go through, and it's going to be a long one, so we got to jump right into it. Let's see where everybody's going to start here tonight. On the front row, Brandon Bikey, able to jump up in there and take that spot. Ryan Huff going to start outside of him on the front row. Right next to right behind him is going to be Aaron Matthews and Randy Mullins in 4th. 5th going to be Alex Coffey and Warren Young in 6th. 7th going to be Tim Wortman Jr., Kyle Holden in the 8th position. In 9th, going to be Justin Belmont and Derek Jacobs in 10th. 11th, going to be Paul Gallimore, Kenny Coppola in the 12th position. In 13th, Ed Bowles Jr., Jeffrey Taylor in the 14th spot. 15th, going to be Nicholas Atwood with Barry Sanders in 16th. 17th, going to be Jordan Schmeets and Paul Whitley outside of him. 19th, Blaine Wilson with Derek Pemberton in 20th. 21st, Nigel Christensen, Shane Davis. 23rd, Johnny Shea with Steven Gibson in 24th. 25th, Hunter Carmichael, Caden Orfrey in 26th position. 27th, Matt Mackin, Darren Mullins in 28th. 29th, Sean Kaltenbach and Chris Spear in 30th. 31st, Brandon Fetterplace and Darren Mills in 32nd. 33rd, Nick King, John Bender in 34th. 35th, Garrett Crawford, Chris Davis in 36th. 37th, Jeff Carson and Jamison Middlemiss in 38th. 39th, Matt Cox, Jared Clark in 40th. 41st, Dean Motley, Matt Medler in 42nd. And that will round out your field as they get rolling. You can see them getting ready to get this thing underway. We got 112 laps here tonight. Let's take a look at your race analysis. 113. Actually, pit road speed 55 miles an hour. They have 6 tire sets. I don't think we'll see them use one. Might come in under a caution flag, a stage break, and use one, but tires really not going to make a big difference. One green, white checkered attempt. I'm sure we'll use that. 100% fuel load. Fuel run's going to be anywhere between 33 and 38, maybe 40 laps, depending on how much you can stretch it. And those stages at lap 25 and 50, those are going to be really important for those points. So lots to think about in this race, but I can't wait to see these guys go around this track and how they're going to attack it. And Talladega always puts on a good show. This package, not like the one we see in real life. They're able to make moves, jump up to the outside, make an outside line work. So we'll see who can make the best of it. They come down to the green flag. The Deez Lug Nuts 300 is about to be underway. Through the tri-oval they go, slow. Gosh, you're just waiting so anxious to get this thing going into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Brandon Bikey has an early lead, but Ryan Huff gets a big push from behind as they go barreling down into turn 1 for the first time, getting up to speed, getting up through the gears, trying to find bumpers and push. And you're going to see a lot of folks with differing strategies. You look almost immediately, the field spreads out. Now, the scary thing is for this style of racing is that, unfortunately, while you can make moves and you can do a lot here, what's going to be really tough is that you can lose the draft really quickly. So you can't really back off too much, and we see it almost every single plate race. Look back here. I can't really see who that is outside of this draft, but right in front, I think it might be Matt Mackin. You can see he's already lost the draft. They're gone. There's no coming back from that. These guys are going to have to get together, work hard, and get back up there. But it's going to be incredibly difficult. You see they're going to line up here. And this, like I said, leading the little pack here is Matt Mackin. And unfortunately, already lost the draft. You can see just how quickly it can happen. You have to be tucked up under someone. If you lift at the wrong time, if you have to check up, a lot of times that will immediately lose the draft. And if you're not careful, you may not get back up there. Now, it looks like they are going to be able to work together, get into a line. There's probably some communication being made over voice comments that, hey, we've already lost the draft. Let's work together. Don't, get in line. Let's get nose to tail. Let's push our way back up there. It's possible with the right amount of numbers, and they definitely have it. So we'll see if they can make that up. But early, you don't want to be losing the draft because it can be a long stage. Now, they do have a stage at lap 25, so they will get caught up. Might not be a bad strategy to be back there now that I'm thinking about it. So, but up front, Randy Mullins gets kind of trained on the outside. Brandon Bikey, Alex Coffey, Paul Gallimore going to go around on the outside. And already, guys making moves. Alex Coffey all over the back bumper of Brandon. As you see, sort of similar paint schemes out there between Brandon and Paul Gallimore. So right now, what they're trying to do is just position themselves, see what the car's like, push who can be pushed, who can take a push, who can't. Find those guys, put them in your memory bank and say, hey, for the end of the race, I'm looking for you. We're going to work together. If you got teammates, you want to be finding each other, trying to get connected and get whatever strategy you had. You can see sort of a snake there on the outside, little accordion effect, and Tim Wortman was sort of at the worst part of that and make some contact. But Yeah, I mean, just you got 25 laps for the stage. You want to get up there and try to get some stage points, but at the same time, you want to just get those strategies ready to go. Both stages won't have a pit stop, so we don't have to worry about a green flag stop between each stage. So we'll be running flat out, no stops needed to the end of these stages. But after that, it is all about teamwork. You want to find your teammates. You have a plan of when we're going to pit, and you have to be able to adjust and say, hey, I'm going to pit, at this time, but we might have to change our plan if something, doesn't go our way. Somebody makes a different strategy we have to react to. So teamwork, constantly working with your teammates, talking to each other, that is so key at this race. Oh, somebody down on the bottom. Don't know who that is. It's like that is Jeffrey Taylor. Pulls out of line, goes to the back. And that's going to be really good for these drivers back here, still trying to catch up. They have now closed back in and have caught this main pack. So really great job by these guys to get organized and get back up to this main pack. But Randy Mullins leads Aaron Matthews currently at the moment. As you can definitely see, it's just a little bit of riding going on. I mean, there's not too many pushes. The big push is coming from Aaron Matthews there on the bottom. And Warren Young have kind of gotten away a little bit. Everybody will eventually, kind of rubber band back to them. But you can see some aggressive pushes. Here comes Aaron Matthews. Going to pull out. You can see the parachute that Randy Mullins basically deployed as Aaron goes around, takes over the top spot, and just leaves Randy Mullins in the dust. So guys just moving around. It's not really much going on at the moment. It may look like it, but just guys trying to position themselves, see how the car drives. Alex really being aggressive there on the top side. Now, something that they don't really deal with in real life because they're not able to stay really connected like they can on iRacing. Got to watch out for those temperatures. Alex Coffey's been really aggressive on these pushes, and you got to be paying attention that you don't put yourself in a position that you blow your motor. You don't want to be doing that too early. No air getting to the front of that radiator, and that machine can get overheated really quickly. And that's a good way to get some clean air right there. Try to go down to the inside, but didn't quite get clear down on the bottom. Big push through the tri-oval. Looks like Brandon Bikey definitely takes a push really well. And they're locked up and rolling right now on the outside. Alex Coffey showing how strong he is pushing in that 15 machine up front. Coming down to those final laps. We've got 3 wide back here towards the back. Somebody is in the middle. I can't quite see who that is. Might be Nick King in the middle. Now we have a third lane starting to form there in the middle of the pack. See the 74, Paul Whitley getting a push from the 32. Is, man, look how aggressive they are. At the moment, Nigel Christensen not playing around as he's got that 17 car rolling. And he's pushing the 18 of Blaine Wilson there on the outside, trying to make something happen. It looks like Huff is going to block that run as here comes Alex Coffey down to the inside. Take over the top spot. Doesn't really have any help, so you see immediately the one comes down and side drafts and yanks that 15 back. And, oh, man, it is it's looking a little nerve-wracking out there, if you ask me. See the 33 there starting to fall back. I don't know who that is. Oh, 93, excuse me, of Ryan Huff, as that middle lane really loses a whole lot of steam. Lord of mercy, I can't imagine they stay green much longer if they continue this. There's a lot of moving around through the pack, trying to keep tabs of everybody where they're at, but man, they are really all over the place. Now that group was able to catch back up, and you can kind of see that they're back here still running nose to tail. Got a couple folks out of line, but not really any runs or anything that is worth mentioning. The 8 there of Garrett Crawford, he's going up to the outside. Some other folks. Oh, God, here he is. It's a big one. Holy moly, the 27 goes around. The 82, I believe, is what it is. The 34 going around. Big, big wreck here. And the big one already. So caution is out. 93 has gone around. There's so many cars. I can't see who's who. I have to scroll all the way down. The 93 of Ryan Huff has jumped to the pits. Let's see if we can go back and find out exactly what happened. There's a lot going on there. And it happened behind him. Good grief. We can go back a little bit further. It's going to happen right in front of Ryan Huff. It looks like the 32. See a little check up there on the bottom, and there's where it starts to make contact. The 32 goes down into the grass, comes back up on the track. As I'm trying to find out who the 32 is. '32 of Matt Cox. Well, it definitely wasn't Matt. I don't know who that was that made contact. As, man, it is really impossible for me to see who is who at the moment. And I don't know why that's such a big problem. I'll try to find out who that is. That's George Schmeets is who's going through the grass. So we'll see what happened from his point of view. We kind of saw it already as they were trying to make the middle work. Somebody comes up and makes contact with him. Going into the middle here, and it looks like the 82 is the one that made contact. The 82 of Derek Pemberton. He's the one that ended up on his side as everybody just sort of comes piling in after the fact. So under our first caution of the night here on lap 12, and a big contact for some drivers. Steven Gibson is out of this thing. Derek Jacobs is on pit road trying to get some repairs. See Derek Jacobs here. He is out of this thing. Ryan Huff is currently getting repairs as well. And Jared Clark also part of that incident. So a couple drivers out of this so far. We've got Garrett Crawford, who has come down and got some damage fixed. About a minute. Jordan Schmeets has been on pit road for quite a while. So that was quite a bit of drivers now are going to have a big, a lot of damage that they're going to have to constantly get fixed over the portion of this race. But that was, that was 12 drivers involved in that one. But up front, it is Alex Coffey as he's able to hang on to the lead under that caution. And it's like Derek Pemberton is out of this race. And we'll see if maybe we can grab one of these guys that had trouble there. And let's bring him up into the booth and see if we can talk to him. Derek, this Eddie in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, unfortunately, looks like your night is done here early. We kind of saw some cars moving around out there. Tell me, what from your perspective, what happened there in that caution?
So, I mean, it was really aggressive, I felt like, for lap 9, lap 10, and it seemed like a lot of guys were moving around up front. And I knew I was having to re-catch the 19 back up to the rear of the inside lane there. And we had caught him, and so I kind of backed off a little bit. And then out of nowhere, I see the 19 get really big right in front of me. So I made an evasive move because I knew I was clear to the I at least knew I was clear to the middle lane. And then I just reacted to the 19 swerving a little bit because he realized he was bottom 3. And next thing I knew, there was a car shooting out to my outside, and there was just nowhere I could do. It was one of those things. It's Talladega, unfortunately, I think is what the grand root of it is. So, it is what it is. Another early wreck for us this season.
Well, unfortunate for you, Derek, but still a long season left. Thank you for talking to us, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Derek Pemberton out of this thing early, and man, what a way to go out. Really just kind of positioning yourselves for the end of this first stage, and guys just kind of making small contact that sit one driver down to the inside, George Schmeets, and then it was just all calamity after that as guys trying to avoid that, and it ends up with 12 cars being on pit road with damage. So early for that, but we're getting ready to go green here. Alex Coffey leads us back down on lap 13, so we'll have just about a 11 lap shootout for this stage 1 win. Who can get the victory? Those stage points going to be massive. Into the Geico restart zone goes Alex Coffey. Green flag is out. Already some movement. Paul Gallimore gets a run there on Alex Coffey. Going to jump up to the outside with who I'm assuming is his teammate, or they have the same painter, one of the two. And Aaron Matthews behind them. And they get a massive run to the outside, start to push by Alex Coffey, and you could just see the difference of being able to lock bumpers like they can here on iRacing versus in real life. I mean, this is way more exciting. We've seen 3 wide already. 3 wide definitely can work if everybody is able to hold their line and keep it together, and you can see just how quickly everything gets spread out. And you can see on those restarts, look how much those guys at the back are spread out, and it happens almost every restart until everything gets wound up. The cars get up to speed and they're able to catch back up, and the pack's going to tighten. Thinking ahead towards the end of the race, you get down to a 2 or 3 lap shootout. If you're not up towards the front, you may not have an opportunity. So side drafting, another big thing. You've seen some guys, come down and grab the left rear or the right rear of the guy that they're running side by side with. That is a big deal. It is massive here on iRacing. You can definitely use it to your advantage. And it looks like that's what Aaron Matthews is going to do to Brandon Bikey and Paul Gallimore. Is, man, they are 4 wide now as Aaron went up there and yoinked the one back off of Paul Gallimore. When he did, they just dropped like a rock. And you can see the parachutes out on the one. He is falling back through the field. And that's all it took, just one little move by the 5. And around, or back they go, and it can happen that quickly. So you have to guard those middle lines, and you have to be hooked up. You don't want to be pulled apart like that. You definitely don't want to get separated from your teammate. Brandon Bikey going to settle in on that 3rd lane. About the 16th position, but up front it is Matt Cox, who has those 2 wins already on the season. He's got Aaron Matthews all over the back bumper, and they're starting to roll up on some lap traffic. It looks like I don't know who that is. Probably could be Schmeets or Federplace or Whitley. You can see these 3 getting hooked up. And one thing that you could do that's a little bit different than most is you can do a little bit of a 3-car tandem. You see some drivers down on the apron just going to get out of the way like that. But you can do a 3-car tandem here. You got to get that 3rd place car right up on the back bumper as the first 2 in line are pushing, and you can make a ton of speed. After that, it really starts to fall off, but 3 cars really can make a whole lot of speed. We've seen that already as these 3 were able to push out just a little bit. Now the draft sort of negates that after a while, but if you need to make some time up after some pit stops, it's a really great opportunity to do that. Guys moving all over the place. Boy, I can't feel like I need to zoom out a lot more than what we are, as I can't keep tabs of all the lines that are moving. Everybody's making wild moves. Nobody is staying still. And you can see one driver up to the outside. One goes up with him. Then the other jumps up. The 32, Matt Cox, going to block that outside line. Trying to block those runs as they come through. And you see a little bit of contact they make with the wall. As the 59 of Kyle Holden is the one that was leading that top line. But now and looks like somebody's going to get caught in the middle there. It's the 54 of Randy Mullins. Going to try to follow Matt back up to the top. My goodness, there's a lot of movement. It makes me a little bit nervous how much they are changing lanes and taking runs. And I mean, they're definitely having a whole lot of fun, but they are making very aggressive moves. It honestly it's a lot. It's a lot right now. Did you see the 32 went up to try to, he was up at the top, is in the middle. Now he's back down to the bottom, blocking the line. Now you got somebody else jumping down to the bottom. I don't know who that is. That's Randy Mullins. Everybody's changing the paint schemes on me. I'm too new. Don't change paint schemes until I can figure out who you are. I got to put numbers to names now that people are changing the name paint schemes. I don't know who you are. Blaine Wilson, though, has made his way up to Alex Coffey, and now they are on the top side and making that outside line work. Blaine Wilson started all the way in the back along with Matt Cox, so they have shown that they are able to move up through the pack, make moves, and you see those guys moving around the track, up and down lanes, and that's what you have to do. If you want to get to the front, you have to take what you're given, and those drivers have done such a great job as, man, Randy Mullins gets back out to the front. Now he's going to get a big push from Matt Cox. I mean, a massive hit, and you can see it sort of reverberating through the back of the pack as I can't see who that is down on the apron. I'll say it's the 29 of Chris Davis. Gets kind of shoved out of line after that little accordion effect. He's going to fall all the way back to the 24th spot. I need another pair of eyeballs up here. This is getting wild. But 5 laps to go before this stage is up. Right now, Randy Mullins been all over the track trying to hold on to this track position. Alex Coffey's going to get a push from Blaine Wilson to get to the outside, but that push going to push him out a little bit too far. Man, the 32 of Matt Cox all over the back bumper. The 54 gets him loose, but they keep on. That's not going to deter them. You see the 17 of Nigel Christensen give Blaine Wilson a big shove. Now the 18 and the 15 are plugged up, ready to go. Blaine Wilson comes off the back bumper. That tells me that he is running a little hot at the moment. And Randy Mullins going to get loose in front of the field. They both go down. Matt Cox makes a wild move to get out of the way, and they hang on to it as they're 4 wide. As look at, unbelievable. Brandon Blakey down below the apron to avoid it, and now they're 4 wide. If y'all can see my timing and scoring, you would know how hard it is for me to find these guys. It is going back and forth all over the place. I can't keep up with it. Can't even find Brandon Blakey. There he is. He's falling back to 19th now as they sort of settle down. But my goodness, look, as soon as somebody gets a run, Matt Cox, big old run down on the bottom. He's got Paul Gallimore behind him, and they are going straight down to the bottom. This is wild, man. This is some of the wildest racing I've ever seen, and what a great save by Randy Mullins to not just wad it up there in front of the field. That could have been disastrous. And right now, coming down to the end of this stage, I don't see any signs of stopping as, man, the cars are moving all over the place. What is the weather like out there? 100 degrees, that ain't that bad. But, man, look at them. A 38 of Ed Bowles Jr. and the 20 almost making contact, but up front, they are still all over the place. As here comes Blaine Wilson to the outside. Bottom line sort of prevails here at the moment. You see Kenny Coppola, somebody we haven't talked about just yet tonight, down on that 3rd car on the bottom, and this has been some of the wildest Talladega racing I have seen in a long time. Most of the time you see them take it easy for the first little bit, especially for 113 laps, but man, here in the Moonshiners Racing League, I don't see that happening at all. Now, it's got one distinct pack here, You see about 20 cars in that pack, and you got to go all the way back to Matt Mackin. Oh, my goodness! Alex Coffey into the wall! Massive contact for the 15. And he's laughing. He's got a smile on his face. He kind of knows what's the deal there. And unfortunately for the 15, his night is going to be done, and that's going to be stage over most likely. And it looks like Matt Cox is going to be that stage winner. We'll see. Make sure in just a second. Let's take a look and see what happened to Alex Coffey, as he had a big push from Blaine Wilson. On board Blaine Wilson. Let's see what happened. Was it a bad push? They were making a lot of movement. Yeah, it was right there on that left rear quarter. You're going to see everything's good here, good, and then all of a sudden right about here, it's going to upset the 15. It goes down, boom, hard into the wall. And that is the night for Alex Coffey. As that'll do it. There's enough. Let's see if we can go on board with Alex Coffey, see what that ride is like. See Blaine Wilson, can't even see the hood of the 18. Such a big push. You can see it just, oh my goodness, massive hit. Randy Mullins, the 17 of Nigel Christensen, makes a little bit of contact there as well, but everybody else really makes it out unscathed. Let's go on board with Nigel and see what that looked like. Yeah, I'm sure it was a Code Brown moment. On board with Nigel here. A little bit of hit to that car, and he's going to actually make contact with the inside wall, that right front. Going to have a little bit of damage, but, I mean, Alex Coffey is definitely the one that they got the most out of it. You can see just massive front end damage to the 15. He has called it quits here in this one. Well, pit road's wide open as everybody coming down. It looks like we're getting a lot of 4-tire calls. 4 tires and fuel. You'll see some folks just take fuel only. I think fuel only is the right call. I can't imagine taking tires, especially with it only being 100 degrees. But some folks stayed out. Not sure if they want to do that, if they meant to do that or not. Jameis Middle Miss, Matt Medler, and Johnny Shade have stayed out. And stage is over, so don't know if that is intentional or not. They have yet to come down pit road, so I don't know. But I think Matt Cox is the stage winner. And either way, I'm going to pull him in here, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. But let's bring him up here and let's talk to him. Matt Cox is Eddie in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Eddie.
Well, I seem to be talking to you every single week, and I think that's a good thing. I'm not real sure, but I'm pretty sure you're the stage winner. And if you're not, don't tell me. Just let me believe that you are. But man, what a wild first stage, huh? I mean, a lot of guys all over the place. We saw in real life it was pretty tame, and a lot of times early on, especially in a 113 lap race, it's pretty tame. But out there, looks like y'all are just having fun, getting with it. What is it like out there? How aggressive are folks being, and are you surprised?
Yeah, no. Well, one, you talk to me every week. I think that's a good thing. I mean, even if I'm not finishing well, hopefully it's exciting to watch. But yeah, no, it looked like it was going to be kind of 2-wide racing, kind of chilling out. And then I came from the back, and immediately went to the outside to try and make it 3-wide. Just because I don't want to putt around here doing 170 mile an hour. I think if we're going to do this, we might as well have fun with it.
Well, and it seems like the aggression levels are high, but it seems to be controlled chaos. Now, we've seen a couple near misses. Does that make you nervous, or are you just full send? You got those 2 wins. You don't really have to worry about it. But you know, I mean, how much fun are you having out there, or how nerve-wracking is it at the moment? Would you say it's a 70-40 fun to nervous, or 70-30 math?
I don't think that I'm not really nervous at all, to be honest. I think we're just out here having fun. Like you said, I got a couple wins on the season, so I'm not really worried about, you know, points per se. It's nice to win, so we're gonna try to win.
There you go. Well, I mean, what about teammates? Pushing your teammate to the win. You know, teamwork going to be a big deal in that last stage.
Yeah.
How you feel about your team? Y'all got a good plan ready to go whenever the time comes?
I don't know that we have a plan, but if we get to the end and we're all working together, we'll try and push whoever we can to the win there. Paul and Kenny both helped push me to that stage win there. We had a really big run there on the bottom and ended up getting it there. I think we'd have probably got it even if there wasn't a caution. We were rolling pretty good, so we'll see what happens.
All right, well, there you have it. Matt Cox, definitely appreciate him talking to us. He's going to get ready to defend his stage 1 win. And right now, Ed Bowles Jr. in the 38. He is going to be down on the bottom, leading us to the green here in stage number 2. Let's go on board with who we want to go on board with. Let's see who we haven't shown. Let's go on board with Nick King on this restart, and let's watch as he tries to navigate this restart from the 7th position. We've seen big pushes, so we'll see what Nick King can do. Got a little smile on his face. We'll see if he can push Paul Gallimore up to the front here early. Into the Geico restart zone goes Ed Bowles Jr. See Matt Cox there on the outside. Tim Wortman does not get a great jump. We'll see if Matt can get to his back bumper up through the gears. Here comes Nick King. Watching that outside line as that bottom line really gets a nice move as Matt Cox actually goes around Tim Wortman and leaves him all by himself in the middle. So the bottom line is wide open at the moment. And here goes Paul Gallimore to the outside as Nick King able to kind of tuck up under Blaine Wilson as those 2 on the top side are going to get connected. So a great start for most folks. Tim Wortman Jr. just got left in the dust. They were like, nope, not working with you, and he was gone there on that restart. Started outside the front row, now back in the 10th position. Ed Bowles Jr. going to hold on to that top spot for now. It's got Blaine Wilson really pushing on him. Here's an onboard look with Ed Bowles. He's got the pretty calm look on his face. He's getting just completely blasted by Blaine Wilson. Now, Blaine definitely looks like one of the better pushers. Now, the caution of the stage, maybe not the best example of that, but he's done a great job so far as you see Brandon Bikey and Paul Gallimore just surge ahead on the outside as the bottom line starts to become a little bit disorganized. But, man, I'm really impressed about these runs these guys are getting. It's really amazing how quickly the lanes change based on who's in it and the pushes that they're getting. I mean, look, Ed Bowles Jr. in half a lap goes from 1st all the way back to 8th as the bottom line just completely falls apart. And those racing stripes add at least 25 horsepower. I know that for a fact. And these 2 have been really, really good. They've caught my eye quite a few times. They have been really, really fast all race long, and they definitely know what they're doing. They made a little bit of contact. One goes down to the bottom, made it 4 wide, had to go all the way towards the back, and now has worked his way back up toward the front. Of course, gosh, I feel like everybody has been up at the front at this point. It's just been wild. Let's take a look at your race lead recap. Lead change is 15 so far after just 30 laps. A lot of folks on certain teams, and those teams I'll be learning, but Brandon Bikey, Matt Cox, and Paul Gallimore are all on the same team. They're also in with Chris Davis, Darren Mills, Dean Motley, Jeffrey Taylor, Jordan Schmitz, Kenny Coppola, Nicholas Atwood, Shane Davis, Sean Kaltenbach, and others. I mean, good Lord, cap the teams. That's way too many people in a team. pretty insane how many people they have in their Discord channel working together. But look at that 3-car tandem as they are really controlling this race at the moment, and it's very, very impressive as Ed Bull's just not able to get that bottom line working just yet. You see just how well these guys are working together. Those stage points are going to be huge if you can get them. I think these first 2 stages are going to have this sort of feeling of, you know, wild and crazy and guys taking runs and wild moves the whole time. But I think that 3rd stage is going to be the interesting one where you're going to see a little bit more measured move as, oh gosh, somebody's bumper. Ed Bull's unit bumper flies off and then attaches itself. He's got a string attached to it as he's blinking out a little bit. So that's why that happened. He's not having any problems, but he is blinking out. Blaine Wilson going to abandon him on the bottom line. Yeah, like you see, he's going to blink out here. And I told Barry Sanders before the race, I said, man, if you're going to run the 88, you got to get you a win. He said, man, I'm going to try. And he has not had the best couple weeks in this series. He's been fast, but just had some issues here and there. Just start to see him kind of get spaced out here, running single file as they run down to about 15 laps to go in this 2nd stage. Hey, look here, we got a Kenny Coppola cam. I like that. I think that's it. I don't think no other Kennys in here, I don't believe. So number 77, Kenny Coppola, we got, he joined after the session, after qualifying, so we won't have his name up there, but he is running up in 4th position. Got his webcam set up, man. We appreciate that. We get to see a little cool onboard shot with him. As you see all that whole team up there working together. Got some lap traffic with these guys are coming up on. They're going to stay out of the way. One down on the apron. Oh, my goodness. Matt Cox, a little weird bump there. And, man, what a scary moment as they really have to check up. I hope everybody else is able to avoid it. You can see back here, good grief. Look at this mess as everybody changing lanes, moving around, trying to avoid an incident. And they're able to do it. It looks like I don't see anybody having any trouble. But they are now 3 wide back here. And this is way back in 12th position. Blaine Wilson was up towards the front. Now he's middle 3 wide back for the 15th position now. So lap car going to stay down on the apron. Oh, boy. I thought he was going to come back up on the track, able to hang on to it, the 20. Caden Orfrey trying to slide down on the bottom, and they are starting to lose the draft if they do not get together. You see the 29 of Chris Davis trying to give Randy Mullins a big push, saying, hey, we got to go. Right down to the bottom they go. They're trying to tandem and get caught up to this group that is now single file from 1st back to 8th. Big push there. Yeah, they're catching them quick. They're going to have a massive run as they catch up. Randy Mullins, what's he going to do? Chris Davis comes off of it and says, hey, we're good. We're caught back up. We're good to go, as everybody behind them getting single file, doing the same thing. Do not want to lose the draft. I'm telling you, it's quick. It's going to happen so fast. Even lifting, if you're back there and you're with a bunch of folks who are just trying to ride, they're lifting half throttle, running about 70% throttle, and one of the guys has to lift too much, it can be dangerous. Oh, my goodness, we got some, what the heck is going on here? Big checkup. As good grief, I don't know what happened up front, but something went massive, went real bad as the 59 of Kyle Holden started going backwards really quick. The 33 of John Bender. Now look at that massive hit from the 19 of Nicholas Atwood is, man, oh my goodness, there it is. Atwood. No, that's John Bender. Makes contact, and the 3 of Hunter Carmichael was the one that got turned. We stay green, though. No caution as they're able to get it back going, but some big contact, and you're seeing those runs are just massive at the moment. So massive that it's not just a bump draft. I mean, you're literally knocking the teeth out of the guy in front of you. And that time it was an accordion. They kind of hit from the front, hit from the back. Yeah, that's a rap song, I think. But Hunter Carmichael goes down to the apron, and he is going to be behind. Luckily, we've got a stage coming up in about 13 laps. But Paul Gallimore, Brandon Bikey, two drivers that have been out front, been up towards the front pretty much all race long. And you're starting to see what we had. We had a field of about 42 drivers, and it's really at the moment just a field of 20 up at the front. Now Matt Mackin, and you see, can't see who that is behind him. It's might be the 69 of Jared Clark, and it is. He's about 11 and a half seconds back from the leader. Then you got this little pack here of drivers that I think purposefully have been riding behind the pack on these first two stages, saying, hey, this is a little bit too much for me. This is Jeffrey Taylor, Darren Mills, Matt Medler, now Hunter Carmichael, Dean Motley, and others. And then back here you got Jeff Carson and Jordan Schmeets, along with Aaron Matthews, doing a little three-car tandem. So they are all about 15 to 20 seconds back from the leader, so they will definitely be able to stay on the lead lap before this stage is over with. But right now, it's calmed down just a little bit, as my goodness, that was the wildest 40 laps of Talladega racing I've ever seen, I think. Just insane. I got tongue-tied. I normally don't get too tongue-tied, and I couldn't find people. I didn't know where they're all. Guys going all over the place. It was crazy. But we're here for it. Here comes the 29, Chris Davis. Big push from behind as they go up towards the front there on the bottom. And how quickly things can change here. As Chris Davis now trying to lead a lap here at Talladega. Not going to do it, though, as Brandon Bikey gives Paul Gallimore a massive shove. These guys have these cars set up just right where they are able to tandem draft and do a great job at it. Now, that tandem drafting will be something that you won't see much of in that final stage. You really want to make sure that you do not blow a motor. And when it gets down to the end, it's going to be a big, it's going to be a sort of a game of, I want to push, I want to keep us up front, but also I have to make sure that my motor doesn't blow. It's a game that you have to play. You have to time it just right, because you want to get to that back bumper towards the end of the race, and you want to push until y'all cross the checkered flag. That's going to be the ticket. And if you can't do that, you know, if you push too early, if you try to get too aggressive too soon, you either have to do one of two things. You either blow the motor, and that's pretty bad, or you have to lift. And you lift, you lose all the momentum in a line, and you're pretty much not going to win the race. So you have to time that out. You have to plan it out. Make use of it when you need to, and try to make sure that motor stays pretty cool. Right now, though, as we only got 9 laps to go in this stage, you push as much as you want. And you see these top 3 have really perfected that, as they're able to really pull away at will. And it seems like that other group only catches up whenever they have to lift and let the air to the front of those machines. They had to lift again. Here comes Shane Davis down on the inside. He's got Chris Davis pushing him, because now they want to go out front. And you can see the lanes going back and forth, and Shane Davis going to try to drive up in front and try to control that lane. We'll see what they do. Paul Gallimore going to lock to his back bumper. Say, well, if you want to go, we can go. Got that Beast Mode 79 rolling at the moment, as they are almost 198 miles an hour going into turn 3. That's scoop. So now the Davises going to control both lanes. I like this strategy, letting those guys up on the top side control that lane. That is, see Matt Cox there in the middle, 3 wide. As he's going to the back, somebody gets into the wall. It's the 19 of Nicholas Atwood, as he's able to get it off the wall without making contact with anybody. You see last week's winner, Kyle Holden, there in that silver and black car. But the Davis is going to control both lanes at the moment. You can see Paul Gallimore now starting to fall back as well. So don't know exactly what's going on. Matt Cox makes some move to go around his teammate and then right back down to the middle. Brandon Bikey with a big push, trying to get Shane Davis back up towards the front. That inside line surging with just about 6 laps to go. Look at this. I mean, if you want to see what it's like out there, you go, what's it like racing in a pack like this with a bunch of dudes sitting in your computer chair? Well, this is exactly what it looks like on board Chris Spear. As you see, he had a lot going on there. This is what he sees out his front windshield, is trying to hang on to this pack, and he's back in 19th, and they are separated by 1 second. That is a lot. Look at the run that he gets there and has to lift. I mean, he comes way out of the gas to make sure he doesn't run into the back of them. That's how big a run that they're getting. Accordion going back and forth. You have to be focused the whole time. If you can't be texting and driving going 200 miles an hour at Talladega, I can tell you that, because you look down, you scratch your leg, get you, oh, my foot's itchy. You go down and scratch it. Next thing you know, you're running up the rear end of Tim Wortman Jr. And I don't think he'd like that very much, if I'm honest. But you can see, I mean, Chris Spear, his eyes, I don't think he's blinked. Blink twice, Chris, if you're having fun. Yeah, he ain't blinked yet. Look at him. We're going to stay here until he blinks. I think he blinked there, so he blinked on through. Let's go check out Tim Wortman. Now, he's a little bit different, man. He looks relaxed. Yeah, I don't think he's ever been excited his whole entire life. If he gets a win tonight, I think we'll see a little bit of excitement. But he is calm, cool, and collected as they're going around this lap car that's going to stay up on the outside. And one down on the inside. Holy moly. Up front, the Davis is still controlling both lanes. I like that. Teams a lot of time will pick a lane and work together, but I like the idea. I'm assuming the Davises are together. They got the same last name, so in my opinion, they're together. But if you control lanes, that is the best way to do it. Is Shane getting a bump from Brandon Bikey, gets a little bit loose there. And now here comes Blaine Wilson out to the outside with a big push. Oh, Shane Davis and Chris Davis are on the same daggum team as everybody up here. Everybody up at the front is on the same team. Who else? Get up there, Blaine Wilson. Blaine Wilson, I think he is on DIG. Dig. He's up front. He's breaking this team, but Matt Cox is going to go right down to the inside. Blaine, like a parachute, going to fall back. Now, Matt has done that a couple times. Take a run, go down the inside, then jump right back in front of him. But here we go. 3 wide for the lead. Did you see the pushes? Now they're starting to get more aggressive. We come down to the end of this stage. I don't think we make it to the end of the stage without a caution, but we're going to see Paula Gallimore out front. Matt Cox there leading that outside line with Shane Davis leading the middle. Push is not coming from Brandon Bikey at the moment. We'll see if they can get that middle lane rolling as you see Matt Cox start to come down to side draft that bottom line with Blaine Wilson all over the back bumper. The bottom line surges as Chris Davis gives the 11 a big, big push, but that's only going to draw in the rest of them here as they get ready to see who's going to win this second stage. Matt Cox won the first stage. Can he win 2 in a row? He's starting to generate this run here as Shane going to the back. We're now 4 wide. Oh, my goodness. Brandon Bikey, make contact. They're 4 wide. Make door-to-door in 3 and 4 at 200 miles an hour. They make it out of it. Tim Wortman Jr. up on the outside. They're able to hang on to it. That is something else. What a great job by everybody hanging on to it right there and not wad it up. Here comes Randy Mullins. Where did he come from? He was all the way at the back. He had gone all the way to the back. Here comes Randy Mullins. Up to the middle line. He's got the 24 of Nick King. We talked about him on the restart. Now he's pushing Randy Mullins to the lead. Lap 49. They got to go all the way around. Here they go pushing. Oh, Paul Gallimore tries to do a little bit of block, but couldn't do it. Randy Mullins now neck and neck is Chris Davis down on the bottom, giving Paul Gallimore a big push. They surge back ahead as they come apart here. Paul Gallimore cheating up to the outside, trying to break those cars up, and he's successful at doing it. What a great move by Paul Gallimore. Somebody going in the wall. That's Blaine Wilson as they come down to the line. Oh, they're going to wreck Shane P. Davis. They're wrecking across the line, and caution comes out. That's not the end of the race. What are you doing? They're wrecking, coming to the stage win. That's how bad they want it. Holy moly. I think Nick King loses a front clip on that one. And they wrecked coming down to the stage finish. And Paul Gallimore is your stage winner. When the caution came out, I do believe. So Gallimore able to hold on to it. But let's go back and see exactly what happened there. My goodness. You see it already happening here. So back it up another 15 seconds or so. And you can see got Matt Cox coming to try to push Shane. And the lines are just all over the place. Blaine Wilson, Nick King gonna, trying to slide down. And when he does, they just kind of make contact. Nick did not want that pass to happen, as he lost his drafting hip when they pull him apart, and Blaine Wilson did not give him that push, and he was just trying to crowd the lines, and when he did, Shane Davis makes it 4 wide, and then they just go flying. Blaine Wilson was involved in that one too, but holy cow. Guys, we still got another 63 laps to go. I love it. Love it, love it. But Paul Gallimore is your winner. They're going to come down pit road. We'll watch them make their pit stops. We'll pull him up in here and talk to him in just a second. But, yeah, it's going to be some interesting conversations after that wreck. And I can't tell if everybody is good to go. I mean, we saw Nick King have that front end damage, so he's definitely going to have some issues. I don't think they're going to be able to put that back on. But I tell you what, Nick's going to be on pit road for quite a while. So we'll pull him up into the booth and talk to him. Nick, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I have a copy.
Well, man, you were having a great run there. You pushed Randy Mullins all the way to the front, man. You had an up and down sort of first stage. And then dadgummit, right coming to the stage, y'all were all over the place, made it 4 wide. Talk to me about what happened there. I mean, you pushed Randy Mullins, you got pulled apart, and then you had sort of a parachute come out, and you really couldn't find anybody to help you. What happened there?
I think a lot of it is just like being impatient and trying to control the race way too much and making decisions that shouldn't be made. Like, it wasn't the last lap. I don't think that should have been a push to 4 wide. And whenever I got somebody above me coming down on me, there's not much I can do. So we're gonna try to get as much of this prepared as we can and see if we can come back out here and do something. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna keep you. I'll get you back to your team. I know you're probably disappointed. I appreciate you talking to me, and good luck. See if you can get some of that damage fixed. Get back in this thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, sir.
Well, you know, I really do hate to talk to people that get taken out of wrecks. It was requested, so I'm trying to do the best I can. I know it's hard to talk whenever you had an incident, but I definitely appreciate Nick doing that and letting us talk to him. But let's talk to Paul Gallimore. Let's see what he thinks. Paul, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
Man, well, stage 2 winner for you. And, boy, I told him on the broadcast, your racing stripes give you at least 20 more horsepower, and it looks like that's what you got out there. I mean, the team has been working well together, been very aggressive up towards the front. You know, lots of pushes, but that seems to be what you have to do to maintain that track position. You and Brandon Bike, you've been working really well together. Talk about that 11. How's it going? And then tell me how you're going to attack this final stage.
Yeah, man, the BMP Chevy Viper here is doing pretty good. Chris, Brandon, all those boys, even Cox and Kenny and everybody else is doing a great job working together. It's going pretty well. Well, try to stay out of trouble. I got a feeling, you know, it's about to really heat up now. If y'all have enjoyed the show so far, you're damn sure going to enjoy the rest of this because it's about to really pick up. Business getting ready to get heavy, and I guess its pay window will be open here soon.
Well, I mean, tell me what is the secret so far that you guys have been able to do? Well, y'all are actually coming to green, so I'm gonna you're going on back straight. I mean, y'all have been really working together. I mean, has it been for the stage win? Have you been just trying to practice and learn what the best way to attack this race is? I mean, tell me what's the strategy been? Yeah, because y'all have been really aggressive here early.
Well, really, it's just stay up front. Once I kind of got towards the front, I originally had thought I was going to maybe go to the back. But now it's like when I got to the front, I was like, well, I don't want to go back there and get into the cobweb. So we're just basically trying to stay up front here and keep her clean as well as we can. Now, this next stage, is a lot longer than those last two. So we're just going to try to keep out front and hopefully stay out of trouble.
All right. There you have it. Paul Gallimore wins stage number 2, and we appreciate him talking to us. And excited to see how he attacks this next stage. As man, I'm telling you, they have been something else so far. So I think that team. I mean, in Discord, it's BMP Hack Mode. I don't know if that's the official team name, but they have been the best for so far for sure out of this front group. But right now, it's Randy Mullins who's got the top spot. As pace car is going to pull off, and we're going to get ready to go green here with just about 60 laps to go. And we'll see if we get a green flag pit stop. Down into the trial they go. Randy Mullins got Caden Norfree on his back bumper. Green flag is out. Big push from the 20. They get disconnected almost immediately. And then Paul Gallimore now hooked up on the outside. It is... it's going to get nasty quickly up here. This outside is really tight. And you see Barry Sanders now making an appearance up front, pushing Paul Gallimore. As the field comes barreling by, Aaron Matthews jumps down in front of Randy Mullins, trying to get that outside, get that bottom line back rolling. The outside got such a great push there in through 1 and 2. They had 2 or 3 cars out front, 4 cars actually, as Randy Mullins is going to get to the back bumper of Aaron and try to push him back up towards the front. And we'll see. We'll see if they calm down a little bit. That green flag pit stop is going to be looming. I'd be surprised if we had a green flag stop, but it is definitely looming. Now, out of the 42 drivers that started this race, only 24 in the lead draft that are on the lead lap. So that is about a little bit over half the field is now gone out of this thing. So the field has definitely gotten a lot smaller. Randy Mullins pushing Aaron Matthews out front. They get ahead, and they're going to lead this lap. And I think a lot of where this back and forth stuff is coming from is these tandem pushes. Normally, as Randy Mullins is going to go to the outside and block this run from Paul Gallimore, but I think these pushes, they're pushing so far out that they cause these big runs from behind once they have to let go, and the pack just kind of swarms them. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot of this, this just kind of a rubber band effect. As every time they push so far out and they have to lift or get off because they're getting a little bit overheated or whatever the reason is, they get swallowed up so fast, and the runs come from so fast from behind that you can't help but to move lanes and try to go around them. So, I think if it wasn't for the pushing as much as they're doing, I think we would see a little bit more calmer race. But, I don't know if I want to see a calmer race. I think it's good for business if we're doing this right here because, man, look at Paul Gallimore pushing Randy Mullins way out there. I can tell you, some guys are not happy, but a lot of these guys up here have been having fun all race long. Now Barry Sanders. Every time I say Barry Sanders, I have to look at the name to make sure that I'm not just... my subconscious isn't saying the other Barry Sanders. And but he is down on the bottom. Big push from Aaron Matthews. Now he's going to go out to the front. He's going to lead this lap. And now the bottom line going to surge out ahead as the top line falls back about 5 car lengths. This is the wildest race that I have ever seen at Talladega. This is pretty interesting how these guys are attacking this race. A lot of times, a lot of these Talladega races, especially once you're going to get a long run like this, you don't see the pushing that you see right now. You see guys just kind of running up to the back bumper, maybe lifting, dragging the brake a little bit, and just maintaining that track position. But it just seems like these guys are not willing to do that, and they're putting their cars. I mean, it's awesome to watch. It's for sure. So, and you can see Aaron Matthews not playing around. They have the lead, and they can't help it. They're going to keep pushing out even further. Now, right here, you're going to see they're going to come separated, and then here we go up on the outside. Paul Gallimore going to have a big push. Tim Wortman kind of cheating up to the outside. He kind of looks like maybe he wants to jump in front of this. But look at the run at the top side's got at the moment. Paul Gallimore really pushing. Randy here, you see that top line sort of fall off. Here we go. Big push from Paul Gallimore here. Here's a slight lift from Paul. Probably feeling that motor get a little bit too hot. Back out of it just a little bit. He's been pushing for quite a while. Right back to the back bumper, and now going to lean on him again. 196, 193 miles an hour as he lifts. They are right at 200 miles an hour, if not. Okay, well, we definitely feel the calmness starting to wash over this particular pack at the moment, as Tim Wortman Jr. now has been able to get up towards the front. He's going to lead this lap. We still see some movement. Paul Gallimore going to have to come, probably need to let that car cool off. He is probably overheated. He's been pushing for quite a while, and so he's going to go to the middle. But yeah, you can. I mean, I don't know if it's coming across to the viewers, but you can definitely feel the calmness, the field starting to just chill out a little bit as we need to log laps and get down to the end of this thing. Is Kenny Coppola going to go to the inside of Tim Wortman Jr. So Tim going to go up to the top 3 wide, no help out there. He's going to fall back to the back of this little pack, because right now these guys are thinking about pit strategy. Ooh, there's contact between Kenny Coppola and it looks like Jeff Carson. Somebody we haven't mentioned here tonight, but he is up in the mix in the 7th position. So right now you're talking about to your teammates. All right, where are y'all at? Where we need to be? What lap do y'all want to pit? You know, a lot of conversations being had about strategy. We got to pick a lap. We got to know when we're coming down pit road, so we all come down together. And I'll tell you, that's where a lot of skill is going to really show itself in teamwork. That's one thing about Talladega I love, is the teamwork that these guys, I mean, you've seen the tandem drafting, you've seen the pushes. That is a form of teamwork, working with your team to maintain track position or go from the back to the front. But now we're going to see what they do on strategy. Right now they're in a big pack. They have an issue where they can't really pull away. Even if they work really well together, they're not able to pull away from each other. It's dang near impossible to make that happen. But if you come down pit road, you get hooked up and you get going, you can see basically what happened, what the Toyotas are trying to do in the real race on Sunday is, if you can get away like that and work together, it can be very difficult to catch back up if there's any issue from the other driver or the other teams. You want to get down on pit road together. You don't want to make any mistakes. You don't want to go down in speed. You don't want to spin out. We'll see some folks as they come down pit road, loop the cars as they get on the brakes a little bit too hard. You don't want to do that. You want to get down on pit road as hard as you possibly can, and then get your fuel, get back out on the track, and get hooked up immediately. You can't waste any time. You can't have a guy be 2 seconds back and, oh, let's go back and get him. It's just impossible. You have to stay on top of it and come back out on track, get hooked up, and start making really fast lap times. That's what you got to do. So that's what they're talking about right now. Hey, we got to get connected, figure out where we're going to go. See Matt Cox, Chris Davis, and Kenny Coppola kind of beating on the back bumper for each other, trying to get it, trying to keep that top line to be the dominant line. But right now, it's just logging laps, trying to get down to this fuel run, which we said at the beginning of the race was anywhere between 33 and 38 laps, depending on how much you saved. I don't know, it's kind of cheesy, but let's crank it up. Field coming up on some lap traffic. That's the 13 of Johnny Shea. Going to stay high there. He is a couple laps down and not having a great day. See Randy Mullins give a big shove to Blaine Wilson, who is back up to the front. Blaine, they just can't get rid of him. He is going to stay up there all race long, it looks like. He has been bad fast. He's lost all of his teammates, but he's going to keep at it. That's for dang sure. See probably another 10 to 15 laps before anybody considers coming down pit road. So not really much to gain at the moment. Track position huge, but right now, I mean, Tim Wortman 16th. He is the last car in this draft pack, so really not much to be gained. 16 drivers, you can definitely make that up pretty quickly with the way these guys have been able to manipulate the draft, use that tandem. So there's really no need to really fight too much for track position when there were 42 cars in the pack for sure. But right now, it's definitely possible for Tim Wortman to go up in front really whenever he wants to. So we'll see if that's the case. Now, if you look over on the timing and scoring, you'll notice that it says negative 66 laps, and it will fix itself. Kenny Coppola joined, I believe, after qualifying had started, and there's some sort of weird bug with ATVO where when that driver does that, it doesn't populate. You'll see he doesn't have a driver info or anything, and whenever he's leading the race, iRacing is not telling us where his position is, so that's why you see the standings as Blaine Wilson goes out front. You see there immediately, timing and scoring comes back. So if you see that, you'll know that's when Kenny Coppola is out front. But no big deal. So Blaine Wilson gets a big shove out front, but Kenny Coppola now going to go back out right after that. I mean, they just so quickly can organize and make a big run. See the 6 of Justin Belmont out there by himself saying, I'm tired of running out here behind y'all. I'm ready to go. Currently no help on that outside. He's going to get a big run, make up a couple spots, but now he's going to fall back. We'll see if he tries to fit here in this gap, and he does. So number 6 is Justin Belmont now going to settle in the 10th position. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying the break. I mean, it was so wild here early. If you're just joining us, we've had a couple big ones, a couple massive wrecks, and it was just a time bomb waiting to go off as these guys were being so aggressive in the first 2 stages, trying to get those stage points. And I'm telling you, stage points are so important. You could finish 3rd and get the most points coming out of a race if you get those stage points. So it is important that you do that. Now, I thought they might be leading. Everybody seemed like they were leading towards pit road. Still a little bit too early. Another 10 laps or so before that'll be a thing. But we had 42 drivers start this race currently in this main pack. We've got 16 working together. See some big runs, kind of trying to populate, but you see everybody getting down to the bottom. That's a pretty good indication that pit stops are coming. Let's go back a little bit. You see this little second group back here: Darren Mills, Jeffrey Taylor, Dean Motley, Matt Mackin, and Jamison Middlemiss. Now, they have been back here for quite a while, away from the pack, and I think they're still hoping for a caution. Now, I think that's a great strategy in the first 2 stages, but at this point, it's a little bit dangerous. I think, you see Jeffrey Taylor really leaning on Darren Mills, but they only got 5 cars, and they are 10 seconds back from the lead pack. So if they do get that caution, they're in good shape. They'll be able to get caught back up, but if we go green to the end, they are in big trouble here in this final stage, because they are nowhere near fast enough to make up 10 seconds. They're about 2/10 faster than the main pack, but that's not going to be enough. I mean, they've got not enough laps for 2/10 a lap to make that big a difference, but so they're back here just hoping for a caution. If they get that caution, they'll look like geniuses, that's for sure. Up front, Matt Cox has been able to retake the lead, and here comes the 59 down on the inside with Hunter Carmichael pushing him. The 59, I believe, is Kyle Holden, last week's winner. Although he is, the 5 into the wall. Aaron Matthews goes around. That's that caution they were looking for. And the 6, Justin Belmont, goes around. The 52 goes around, and so does the 54. No big damage for them, but the biggest one is going to be Aaron Matthews, who hit the wall hard. And he quits out. Day is done. What happened there? We were kind of watching different... They didn't seem like they were driving that aggressively, and look at there. Boom. Little contact between the 54. Look out the back bumper of Matt Cox here as he loses his draft tail, and it looks like Randy Mullins trying to go to the inside. Watch this, that's where the problem happened. I mean, Matt loses all of his drafting help as all 3 of those cars go down to the bottom. And then here comes Randy Mullen. He's going to try to make it go 3 wide. Matt Cox, though, trying not to let that happen. And Aaron Matthews really just sort of a innocent bystander there as he gets, that is a scary wreck, even in the sim. Let's watch on board with Aaron Matthews as that happened. You can see the 64 drop down, and here we go. Watch what this looks like. Just massive hit. And that's going to do it for Aaron Matthews. He is done for the day. All right, we'll definitely see folks come down pit road. Now there is 40 laps to go. That's going to change a lot. We've talked about the fuel. Everybody's got to come down. You can't afford not to come down pit road here if you have to pit in 10 laps. That would be a race killer. But, it's going to be interesting to see if somebody can push that fuel mileage to lap 40. And we're going to see maybe a little bit what we saw in the real race. As if you can make it to the end, you'll definitely want to try to do that. Race off pit road, Hunter Carmichael is going to win that battle. As everybody is taking fuel only. A lot of 10, 11 second stops. They were pretty low on fuel, so they had to take both tanks of fuel. Get caught up to the pace car here. And so an interesting development. I mean, going to be a lot of fuel saving at this moment. You can see on board with Tim Wortman. Listen how quiet it is. And there's two ways of doing it. There are multiple ways. You can kind of throttle it up and then push the clutch all the way in, let it coast. And it looks like what Wortman is doing here is actually shutting the car off. So you have a button that is an ignition. You have a starter button. You can turn that ignition off, and it will cut the car off, be coasting it. I mean, just the engine's not running at all. Then you can actually drop the clutch, and it will spin the motor back up, and then you can save that way. So multiple ways of doing it, and you're going to see drivers come back down pit road. I like this call. I think that's a smart move. Barry Sanders is going to be one of them that comes back down to get that little bit of extra fuel as they're right on that fuel window. And so that every little bit is going to make a difference towards the end of this thing. But, I mean, you're seeing guys really try to save. We'll see if somebody else going board with Nicholas Atwood here. And he's doing a different strategy. He is in 5th, running a lower gear, so he's running a lower RPM each time. So he stays in that 5th gear. Just idling around at 3,000 RPM. That's another way of saving fuel under caution. You can run in that 5th gear and just let it kind of cruise like going down the interstate. Darren Mullen, same thing, just kind of cruising. Whereas Wortman trying to save all he can. You see Jameson Middlemiss here. He's just riding around in 2nd. So not concerned with fuel saving at all, looks like, for the 16. So this is going to make for an interesting little run here, as I think we're going to see maybe the exact opposite of what we saw before. Fuel saving going to be worth thinking about, because even if you can make it to the end, you still have that one green, white checker you have to prepare for. You can't just ignore it. So we'll see who is good on fuel, who needs to save a little bit. But I think the racing is definitely going to slow down even more as we need to get to the finish here. Pace car going to pull off. Looks wild, don't it? The field's all over the place. Guys still saving fuel. You won't see very aggressive pushes on the start, I don't think. But Darren Mullen's going to lead us down. Tim Wortman Jr. there on the outside as we're getting ready to go back green here. Just under 40 laps to go here in this race. 19 going to get to the back bumper of the 64. Try to give him a little push, and the 64 actually just takes off by himself, said, I'm out of here. Now, there are 24 drivers in this main pack, and, you know, I'm going to go back a little bit. You're going to see right here, I mean, this is a nervous moment. You can see Paul Gallimore with the 59 behind him, and Kyle Holden actually was able to get a couple laps back, it looks like. So great job by him to get back on the lap. These guys don't want to lose the draft, so they're going to be a little aggressive here, I think, to push back up towards the front and see some movement there up towards the top side. But you do not want to lose the draft as they're getting wound up here. Takes about a lap for everybody to get up to speed, get that momentum going. And we're going to see this pack tighten up. But I'm just interested to see what the aggression level is like, knowing that the fuel is close. We'll see if they can make it to the end. Really being aggressive here on the back bumper of the 64. You see the 9 right behind them. Gonna not quite give him a shove, and here that lifting going on, trying to save as much fuel as you possibly can. Go back here to Paul Gallimore, who stage 2 winner. A lot different story than what we saw out of Paul the first 75 laps. You can definitely hear the lifting, trying to stay out of throttle, save as much fuel as you possibly can. Much different story as they go down into 3 and 4. Kyle Holden up to the outside. I thought Kyle Holden's bid for 2 in a row was over, but it is not. Here right now, he is up on the high side trying to make his way to the front with Matt Cox behind him. And Barry Sanders getting a big push. That outside line is definitely moving. And here they go. Oh, they're going to try to go up and block. Oh, they are. They're going to squeeze them. And it's actually going to leave the 38 all by his lonesome in the middle line. So Ed Bowles Jr. going to lose a ton of spots there after that ordeal as Tim Wortman Jr. moves up to block that outside line. Kyle Holden. They're going to drop Justin Belmont. Now he's going to be pushed out of line. Now Kyle Holden going to lay on the back bumper of Tim Wortman as they go to the front. What's up, brother? Big push from Kyle Holden here. Sim Wrap Market, number 59 machine is back in it. Big push from the 59, and now they have cleared that bottom line. We'll see if they shift down to the bottom or if they stay there. Looks like they're going to stay there for now as they're bringing Matt Cox along with Barry Sanders. I wonder if Barry and the, as Bandera Mullins gets really loose there as he gets a little bit of a bump through the middle of the corner. It kind of upsets that car. Able to get it back going, but it kind of breaks up that bottom line, and all 4 of those cars that were on the outside and now take over control of the race down on the bottom. Johnny Shade stays up high as he goes down yet another lap. Carmichael trying to get that second lane going for himself. Big push there from the number 4 of Jordan Schmeetz, who we saw go down the track, down to the apron, come back out on the track, and here he is back into this thing. So I'll tell you what, the teams have been putting in work fixing these cars, getting them back going. They're going to have to run down Harbor Freight and get another hammer before this thing is over with. Those guys are getting with it. Top line kind of stalls out around the 5th place of Darren Mullins as George Schmeets has to get off the back bumper of Hunter Carmichael, but now down the back straightaway, going to lean back on it. Oh my goodness! The 7, Chris Spear, down on the apron. And you can see he's shaking his head. He comes back on track, and he knows he is in trouble now as the dadgummit. I could just hear it. As he is now going to lose the draft. Somebody's going to come up and help him. It's like Dean Motley there, but Chris Spear now in trouble, going to need a caution. As he did have a great save, though, there to not go around. Let's go back and see what happened to him. The 7 car right in the middle of your screen. Jeff Carson was there behind him, and yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of movement from the cars. We'll go to Jeff Carson's camera here. Yeah, there's an accordion effect on the inside, and unfortunately for Chris, I don't think that Jeff really knew what was happening and just couldn't lift in time. Watch this as he. Could not lift in time. By the time he did, he was already making contact. But a great save by Chris Spear to stay in it. Hunter Carmichael, with the help of Jordan Schmeets, has been trying to get that outside line up to the front here. Not quite able to do it as well as maybe others. Maybe damage is a factor. But here comes Barry Sanders up to the outside. He wants to lead that line. A good timing for Barry as that bottom line kind of breaks up because he leaves the lane. And so now here comes Hunter Carmichael. Gives him a big push. They're up to the second line. Now we'll see if Barry can lead this lap. And he does. He's going to surge out ahead. Come through the tri-oval start-finish line. All 3 drivers were out ahead there. Jordan Schmeets was able to get his nose out ahead of Tim Wortman Jr. So fuel still a concern, I would imagine, but it seems like these guys are just trying to position themselves up near the front. Get up to the front, try to save a little bit of gas maybe. But it definitely doesn't look like there's that much saving going on, so you wonder if folks feel like their fuel is in good shape. As here's another group of 3 that's now going to, maybe 4 as Ed Bowles is up there. And that 38 car of Ed Bowles Jr., he is actually, he is in 28th. He is 8 laps down, but obviously going to stay up here and help his teammates. Teammates of Chris Spear, Jameson Middleman, Justin Belmont, Tim Wortman Jr. So the 38 would love to get up here and help his teammate. Barry Sanders currently leads the race on lap 87 of 113. Big push coming on the bottom line. Tim Wortman going to have a massive run here as they come to the tri-oval. Run kind of stalls out a little bit as you see some guys swapping lines, and it looks like Hunter Carmichael gets to the back bumper of Barry and pushes him out. I like that move of just kind of saving that temperature, waiting. Once you see a push from the bottom, then start to lay on the back bumper of Barry and push until they lift and you lift, and you can continue to control that line and not allow them to surge out front. I mean, the big question right now is, do they have enough fuel? Are they saving enough fuel? You know, are you saving enough for a green-white checkered if we have one? I mean, that could be a big deal. You see Paul Gallimore I mean, he's been up at the front all race long, and he's back here just riding. So you know he is saving fuel. He's thinking about it. And I think that's a great thing. I think if we knew how much fuel they had, I think it would be a lot more boring. I like that it's a little bit more hidden, so we don't know if they can make it. And it definitely adds to the excitement, I think, as here comes Darren Mills down in front of Tim Wortman. Darren Mullen, excuse me. So now he's going to lead the bottom, and Tim Wortman Jr. is going to give him a push. Well, somebody we haven't really mentioned here tonight, he has been in that pack, one of that group that has been kind of laying back, waiting on those first two stages, was kind of towards the back of the pack. And that's Jeffrey Taylor, but he is up in the top 10, making himself known. Been riding around all race long, but now it's time to go. Just riding patiently there on the bottom, not being too aggressive. You see, he got a nice little gap between him and Matt Cox, so he doesn't run up on the back bumper of it. If that bottom line checks up, you see he does check up, lifts a little bit, giving him plenty of room. So Jeff Taylor, while I don't know if I love the strategy of hanging back on these races, I think he made a smart move early in the race. This one was just wilder than I've ever seen in those first two stages. Yeah, I think he knew that, knew these guys, what they were willing to do. And him and his team decided, I'm going to hang back here, and we're just going to ride until it's time to cash in checks. And here comes Jeff Taylor. Just like last week, I think he did the exact same thing. We really weren't talking about him too much, and all of a sudden I just kept seeing him creep up in Texas. And that gold car, man, was really moving at the end. And thought he had a chance to get that win tonight. He is in the same position. Haven't talked about him all that much, but here he is in the mix towards the end of this race. Barry Sanders still leads this thing, as you're not seeing any big pushes down on the bottom. We're clicking off laps as we are coming around to 20 laps to go in this race. And it is so calm at the moment. Everybody minding their P's and Q's, they made it this far. You want to make it all the way if you can. If you're close on fuel, you wouldn't mind a caution. But you definitely don't want to be the caution. Hunter Carmichael laying on the back bumper of that 88. I think they might be good on fuel because they're definitely driving like they are. Check in on Barry Sanders. He leads this race, trying to hold it steady as hard as he can. And it's actually difficult when somebody's pushing you to really hold that thing steady. If they're not pushing you, you can kind of be lax some days. You know, you can kind of just let that wheel kind of move around. You don't tense up as much. Your arms, your muscle fibers are not locked in. But when somebody's right on your back bumper, you are tensed up. And you think, well, they're just going around in circles. It can't be that hard. I'm telling you. When you're pushing like these guys are, you're taking pushes, you're trying to work with a guy that lives hundreds of, maybe thousands of miles away on another computer and work together like this, it is actually very, very difficult to do it and do it well. And so you see right now, Barry is relaxed. See the arms are just kind of chilling. As he gets to the back bumper, that focus is going to lock on. A little bit stiffer arms as he tries to make sure that he doesn't make any wild moves so Hunter can stay right on his back bumper. If he kind of lets the car shift up, shift down, Hunter might get to that left rear bumper, and we've already seen what can happen Alex Coffey goes around from a missed time bump from Blaine Wilson, so it is possible. Right now, Barry locked in, focused to get to the end of this thing and have a battle. Put that 88 in victory lane at a super speedway. I think that would be a pretty awesome story for sure. But he has quite a few drivers that are looking to keep that from happening. Go back here. Paul Gallimore has a little gap back to the lead group. Still just saving a little bit of fuel. Then we got a pack of 3. Shane Davis, Chris Davis, and Blaine Wilson running nose to tail. I don't know if they want to be this far back, along with Caden Norfree, Matt Mackin, Matt Mackin, and the 01 of, or the 34 of Brandon Fetter Place. These guys are all multiple laps down, so it's hard to see who is who. But you see, they have pretty much lost the draft as Shane Davis, Chris Davis, Blaine Wilson has been able to catch back up. So, Caden Norfree, Matt Mackin, sort of in trouble here. Oh my gosh, just a wreck is happening. Big wreck right in front of them. And Tim Wortman Jr. is the one that has gone around, and oh my goodness, contact as he's spinning back down the field. And Tim Wortman Jr. without a right front tire. And that's going to likely do it for the 83 car, as you can tell he's not showing a whole lot of emotion on his face, but that mouth is moving 200 miles an hour. He is not happy about it. Let's see if we can go back and find out what happened as we saw him wrecking going down the back straightaway. It looks like they were almost 3-4 wide. Go up into the blimp view here. It looks like it may have started with the 6, that 38, who is multiple laps down. Big push there on the bottom. Yeah, and then I can't exactly see who that is. That is the 52, it looks like. 52 to Sean Kaltenbach, who goes down to the inside of the 6 of Justin Belmont here. Justin kind of peeks up to the outside, and Sean goes to the inside thinking that, okay, well, if you're going to leave that gap, I'm going to take it. And Justin Belmont just closes the gap back up. I mean, it looks like Belmont thinks about going high here, but I don't think that was his real intention. And then at the last second, realized he made a mistake, but at that moment, I mean, unfortunately, once you make that move up, you kind of lazy move up to the outside. And somebody fills that gap, I mean, you got to just let it go. And unfortunately, Belmont tries to just come on back down, and when he does, makes contact. And the big loser was Tim Wortman in that deal. So. All right. Pit stops for fuel. Very short pit stops, about 4 seconds, 5 seconds, depending on how much fuel you want to take and how much you're willing to push the limit there on that green-white checkered. So fuel not an issue anymore, so we're going to be wide open, running like hell to the end of this thing. I can't wait. Jordan Schmeets, what a great recovery. I already said it already. He was down on the apron at the first part of the race and has been able to recover. He's up in the lead now with not that many laps to go. About 15. 14 as they cross the line. All right, well, let's go through the list of drivers at the moment so we know where everybody is. Jordan Schmeets, Hunter Carmichael, Darren Mullins, Jeff Carson, Jeffrey Taylor are your top 5. Matt Cox, Kyle Holden, Barry Sanders, Nicholas Atwood, Darren Mills, your top 10. Jamison Middlemiss, Shane Davis, Caden Norfree, Paul Gallimore, Chris Davis, Blaine Wilson, Chris Spear, Dean Motley are currently your drivers that are in the main pack. That's going to end at position 18. Sean Kaltenbach, who's involved in that incident, he is in 19th. Kenny Coppola is in 20th. Brandon Fetterplace, who looks like he is going to go around, and he is still on lead lap. That 34 machine will be the last driver, I believe, on the lead lap. Now, everybody else is out of it. Justin Belmont now in 22nd. Randy Mullins in 23rd. Tim Wortman Jr. is going to be sitting on pit road for a while. They may get back out on the track, but they have massive damage. I don't think Tim Wortman is going to be able to get that damage fixed, but we'll find out. Matt Mackin is in 23rd. Randy Mullins, Tim Wortman, your top 25. Then it's Johnny Shade, John Bender, Ed Bowles Jr. are still trying to get damage fixed or trying to stay in it. Ed Bowles has been up in that lead pack. He still runs up there currently. He's in 28th position trying to gain a few more spots. And then the rest of these drivers have exited out of the sim. It's Garrett Crawford, Aaron Matthews, Matt Medler, Nick King, Jared Clark, Brandon Bikey, Warren Young, Nigel Christensen, Alex Coffey, Paul Whitley, Derek Pemberton, Ryan Hub, Derek Jacobs, and Steven Gibson. Just crazy how many drivers are out of this thing. And that was probably around halfway, so. Well, all right, we are doubled up, getting ready to go green. We're going to have just right at 14 laps to go, 13 laps to go when they go green. And we have already seen some wild driving, some wild racing, but now I don't think you are quite prepared for what is about to happen. We got some drivers who have been up front all race long, and then some that are new to it, and it is going to be, you've got folks towards the back. You've got the Kenny Coppolas. You got Chris Spear, who I'm sure is glad that he's back in the mix. Blaine Wilson, who has been able to drive from the back to the front at will. He's back in 15th. Paul Gallimore, your stage 2 winner, he is in 13th. I mean, it is a smoke show towards the back of the top 15. So I think it is going to be wild and crazy. Pull those belts tight. If you're wearing if you got sort of a something to tie you down to a couch, if you're watching on TV, you might as well go ahead and get that done, because it is going to be a wild race to finish. Pace car going to pull off. Jordan Schmeets holds that lead. You want to be up at the front, but it's going to take a lot of focus, a lot of back and forth, trying to guard those lanes, watch those runs, watch what's going on. Into the Geico restart zone goes Jordan Schmeets. 13 laps to go here at Talladega. Who is going to take home the victory? Who knows? Gosh, it could be anybody. We've got 20-plus drivers who are still in this thing with 13 laps to go. Green flag is out. Jordan Schmeets goes from the bottom up to the top in front of Hunter Carmichael. Darren Mullins, down on the bottom. The 3 gives the 4 a massive push. It's going to surge them out ahead. See some guys jumping up on the outside line already. Some blocks happening. Blaine Wilson tried to go. They were not ready to pick him up. Who's going to be the first to go? They make it happen. Still 13 laps to go. That is a long way. That's a little over 10 minutes of racing still left in this race if we stay under green. Right now, Hunter Carmichael pushing. Is it too much? Are you pushing too early? Do you need to save that motor temperature for a little bit later towards the end of the race? You see Matt Cox there giving a little wide berth to the 9. Oh, the 64, the 23 make contact. Down the back straightaway. Nicholas Atwood going in the middle. 23 gets a big bump. Jeffrey Taylor getting bounced around out there as the 2. Darren Mills, who has been riding in the back all race long, hiding out in the back. Here he is. He's ready to come race through the middle. Now they're 3 wide, almost 4 wide contact with Shane Davis. Through the tri-oval, they keep it together. The 19 and Shane Davis almost make contact, and the 2 of Darren Mills has been able to fall down to the bottom as the front 4 trying to pull away. Look at this massive pack back here. The 23 Jeffrey Taylor getting a big push as the 16 of Jamison Middle Miss not getting the push he needs. There's the 23 and the 29 hooked up as they go by the 64 like he's standing still. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the top? Yes, they are. Barry kind of fades up to the top, but not quite able to block that run. The run's going to fade just a little bit, but we survive. Still rolling. I see Paul Gallimore back there. When does he decide to go? The 23 gives a big shove to Kyle Holt. It's going to happen. You're going to get big runs, and people are going to jump up in front of it. Here he goes. Another one. Another one. And Matt Cox is going to be the final. No, he's not. Jeff Carson is going to jump up in that outside line. Everybody's like, hey, I want to go to the front. Take me there. And Hunter Carmichael is going to jump up to the outside line. And 64 is down on the bottom. They're 4 wide. He's going to stay on the track. Everybody does a fantastic job of not wadding it up there. Here we go. 3 wide for the lead. Matt Cox up to the outside. The middle line falling apart. Hunter Carmichael all by himself in the middle. No help. As they're going to fall back quickly. But Matt Cox is going to lead that outside line. Oh, somebody's in the wall. So the outside line will fade back just a little bit. But Matt Cox with that push from the 29 of Chris Davis pushes him out front. Do they have enough steam? Are they going to run out? Here comes Shane Davis to join the battle. Paul Gallimore, there he is. Up on the high side, 4th car back. Less than 10 laps to go in this race. It is still anybody's race, but right now Matt Cox owns the front row. What's he going to do? He's been working with his teammates all race long. Do you start working both lanes? We saw Michael McDowell work both lanes for almost 20 laps. It all fell apart at the end, but he was definitely making it work. See the 23 of Jeffrey Taylor trying to make that outside line work, but he is way back, not able to get it rolling just yet. Matt Cox still holding on to the lead from that middle lane. As we're 8 laps to go, here comes the 23. Blaine Wilson's going to jump up in front. Here comes Paulo Gallimore. He's going to jump up there. Put them in the wall, basically, as they're bouncing off the wall. Nowhere to go. Oh, Matt Cox gets a big shove. Oh, I don't think we're going to make it. I don't think we're going to make it. They're going down on the apron. Back up on the apron. And caution is out. Hunter Carmichael, the 23 of Jeffrey Taylor, make contact, and that brings out the caution. Go back to see what happened to Hunter Carmichael. We saw him get pushed back, and there it is. Got stuck in that middle line. You can see the pushing and shoving here. See a big push. That middle line was really going, and just, oh man, Kenny Coppola runs into the back bumper of Shane there in that middle line. Look at the run that they're going to get here as Paul moves out of the way. Kenny Coppola gets a massive run with Shane and gets right to his back bumper, makes contact, and it's just an accordion effect. Paul Gallimore gets a little bit loose, and unfortunately, Hunter Carmichael and the 23 going to make contact, and they just could not get off each other until the caution did come back out. Well, I mean, the Moonshiners Racing League has been pretty incredible so far, and here in the OB Builders Cup Series, it's been a wild few weeks. Been really happy to be a part of this. Hopefully, it only gets better and better. Glad that Alex Coffey asked me to come on board and call this series. And right now, Chris Davis out front. And they're going to have a couple laps here under caution. They've got a bunch of lead lap down cars. So they'll run at least 2 or 3 more laps. We'll see if what the lights do on the pace car. Yeah. So we will get this lap, and then we'll come around likely to the 1 to go. And that will give us just about 4 laps to the end of this thing. Well, I want to talk to somebody. So we're going to talk to, we're going to pull Jordan Schmeets up into the booth. Jordan, this Eddie, you got a copy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, what a wild race for you. You started 17th, and I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, you were the driver that went down on the apron, come back up on the track. Is that right?
Yeah, I had 6.5 minutes of damage, and I was just like, maybe I can get it done by the end of this stage and see how she runs. And she's running really good. She just kind of lags on entry a little bit, but sucks up pretty good. So I think sitting in a good spot to take advantage of that.
Well, you're going to be on the outside of the second row with Matt Cox, and you guys are working. I mean, I think every one of his teammates up here at the top 5. So you're going to be able to get to the back bumper of that 32. I mean, with the 4 laps to go, tell me what your plan. What's the idea here?
Man, I'm going to just stay with Matt and push him. He's my good buddy. I'm going to try to win this, though. So if you see me backing off in between 1 and 2 on the final lap, you'll know what I'm setting up for.
Well, and there's a lot of guys that are going to be coming from behind. I mean, you think, if you were in real NASCAR at the moment, you would be pretty good. You'd feel like, okay, I'm in the top 2 rows. Pretty much the winner's going to come from this row. But here on iRacing, it's not the case. You got a bunch of hungry hippos behind you that are coming once you get up to speed. So while you're thinking about pushing your teammate and looking out the front windshield, how much are you paying attention to what's happening behind you to try to block those lines when they come?
Oh, yeah. I do pay attention to that a little bit. I kind of pay attention to really more of who is behind me than blocking. I like to think I can push enough to keep me out front where I need to be, but you got to watch out for that 77 car behind me. Last year, he was pushing me on the final lap through the tribal and just decided he's going to swipe my bumper and steal it from me. So your best friends will be your worst enemies on the last lap.
That's right. Well, look, only one of you can cash the check, so that's the way that it goes. Well, Jordan, thanks for talking to me. Good luck here in the last little bit of this race.
Yeah, thanks, man. You mind putting me back in the... You got
yeah. I cut him off there. Jordan Schmeets, though, he's ready to go. Lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go green. Chris Davis has the lead, and I can tell you I have no idea who's going to win this thing. I think we're not done wrecking, that's for sure. I think green, white, checkered is almost a guarantee at this point. I mean, it's super speedways. I think guys think, green, white, checkered is sort of like currency. I mean, you never, you got to use it. If you got a green, white, checkered, you got to spend it. And I think we're going to see that here. Blocks. The runs come faster, the blocks come slower. It's going to get tight here. That third line is going to get really crowded. Nobody's going to be lifting anymore because we're going for the win. Who is going to take the victory? I cannot wait for these next few laps. It's going to be pretty exciting. All right, here we go. Pace car pulls off. Five to go at the line. Who's going to take the checkered flag here at Talladega? It's going to be Chris Davis. It's going to be Matt Cox. Or is it going to be somebody a few rows back? Nice restart for Chris Davis. Not a great jump for Matt Cox, who did not get a great jump at all. Looks like it was on purpose, doesn't it? As they jump right up to the outside, and teammates all working together is going to push and form a massive line. Nope, never mind. Matt Cox goes down to the bottom with Jordan Schmeets on his back bumper down to take that bottom line. Here comes Barry Sanders to the outside by himself. No help. No, here comes some help. Up on the outside as they come barreling down the Alabama super stretch. Barry, they're going to block the lane on the outside. Barry with nowhere to go. Kenny Coppola going to go down to the bottom, lead that bottom line. It is wide open. Are we going to make it to the end or not? Barry going to stay up on the outside as Chris is going to have, he's going to try to block Kenny Coppola. He's all by himself. He's going to have that's going to kind of bogged down that middle line, and I think Barry Sanders is going to be able to drive up to the front. Big push, though, as Kenny Coppola is able to get to his back bumper and immediately push him out front. Big pushes now. This is the part of the race on iRacing where the engine builders, they look away from the TV screen because we're pushing till she blows, baby. We're not going to lift out one bit. You're going to see it turn red on the screen, start blinking on the little dashboard, and you're not going to pay attention. You're going to just look away from it. You'll say, I'm colorblind. I can't see it. Barry Sanders up on the outside. Chris Davis still on the bottom. See one team on the bottom, one team on the top. And Barry Sanders has a nose out and head. Oh, somebody's going to jump up out of the line. I don't know if that's Caden. No, it's Kyle Holden. Caden Norfrey. The 20. Going to be left to dry in the middle lane. It's a 7 of Chris Spear. Trying to jump up to the high side in front of Blaine Wilson. And almost big contact as that outside line is missing some numbers here. Shane Davis going to jump up to the middle lane. Neck and neck. No caution just yet. Are we going to get that white flag? That's what we're looking for. If they don't get there, they'll rack them up, do it again in a green-white checker. Chris Davis surges out ahead as that outside line starts to fade and more people keep abandoning the line. And oh man, Barry Sanders is going to move up to block that lane. Big contact there between Shane Davis. Multiple drivers going to go around. Does caution come out? They're still wrecking back here. Shane Davis back out on the track. No, we stay green. We lose about half this little pack. And Chris Davis, Kenny Coppola, and Matt Cox are pulling away down on the bottom line. The Barry Sanders still leading that outside line. People keep abandoning that outside line, so I don't know if he'll be able to make it, but he's got Kyle Holden, last week's winner, right behind him. The 2 of Darren Mills and Paul Gallimore. That's a pretty good line. Here we come. Matt Cox going to move up, block that line. Barry Sanders says no. Jumps up to the outside. Now we've got 2 cars in the middle as they start to fade back. They tried to block the line so they can control it. Here we go. White flag is out here at Talladega one more time around the Deez Lug Nuts Podcast 300. Who is going to come away with the victory? Those 2 go down in the middle line. They still have an opportunity. Can they get the run going? No. Paul Gallimore is going to come down in the middle. He's got no help, though. Now he's got help, but Justin Belmont, no, gives up on him. He's going to go down and get some help from Kenny Coppola, but that outside line is all alone, and Barry Sanders has got to feel really nervous right now as he's got nowhere to go if they pull out. Here comes Darren Mills to the outside. He's going to pull that group back. That's good for Paul Gallimore. He's going to have a big push. That outside line is falling apart, and Paul Gallimore's got a huge run as they're wrecking down into the tri-oval. Paul Gallimore has the lead. They continue to wreck. The door banging, coming to the stripe. It is Paul Gallimore. Holy cow. Unbelievable. And that all started when Darren Mills pulled out there on that white flag lap, and he is coming to rest here in the top of turn 1. And we'll see if we can go back and watch what happened there. This is where that all started. This is what gave Paul Gallimore the win. That outside line is running really good. We're going to go back a little bit and watch it all play out from a different camera. And you can see right there, I don't think he meant to go by him, but once he did, look how it slowed up Kyle Holden. And when it did, it pulled Kyle Holden off of the 88. And now look at the run there down on the bottom. The 2 trying to go to the inside. Barry tries to cover it. And then a big wreck behind them as they're just door banging. Jordan Schmidt's trying to make something happen there, but Paul Gallimore is going to take the victory on a wild last lap and textbook run to the finish. It just seems like at Talladega you want to run, make your move off of 4 if you possibly don't want to do it down the back straightaway. And this is why right here, Paul Gallimore able to get it done. Really, really incredible. Well, we're going to talk to these guys, see what they thought about that race. That was exciting. One of the best Talladega races I've ever seen on iRacing. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk to your winner right after this. All right, we're back for the Deez Lug Nuts podcast 300 here at Talladega. Paul Gallimore is your winner here tonight, and we're going to talk to him right here and see what he thought about the race. Paul, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Eddie. How you doing?
Man, well, we talked to you at the end of that second stage, and there towards the end, you were kind of the back of that little pack there, but I did not count you out one bit. Able to drive up through there, make the moves you needed to make, and there on the last lap, got the push. That outside line falls apart, and you had to feel like, you just had to feel as soon as they kind of went side by side, you had to feel like, man, I got this thing.
Well, once Kenny got on my bumper, I knew I had it because he's a hell of a pusher, like all these boys at BMP are. So once he got locked on there, coming down the back stretch and into 3, I was like, well, I hope we just see this thing go sail. And I saw somebody get turned on my outside approaching the tri-oval, and he went across my nose, but I just did not lift. I was staying in it. I was like, they're going to take me with them if they're going. So, and luckily, he just skimmed across my nose, and I was able to just keep her locked on the bottom there and come take the flag. So that's really, really pumped, man. Great win, man. I hope everybody enjoyed that show.
Yeah, it just seemed like you guys as a team really worked well together, and you seemed like super speedway racing seems to fit into your wheelhouse pretty well. Do you feel like that is accurate? I don't know you that well. This is the first time in this series, but would you classify yourself as sort of a really good plate racer?
Been learning a lot from all these boys, Brandon and Kenny and everybody over here, and Chris and everybody at BMP has taught me a lot. I venture to say I do a little better on, sometimes but it's like these kinds of tracks are starting to become, a good thing. I won in Atlanta earlier this year and now this, so. I want to start getting some wins on those 1.5 miles and those other tracks. So maybe this will be a step in that direction. So it helps with the confidence, helps with the team and everybody there. Just anytime we can get a win, we're super pumped, and I appreciate everybody watching.
Well, as we're watching the final drive to the finish, entering into the tri-oval, the contact with the 88 and the 2 sends him across your front bumper. Did your heart stop? It's good as a defibrillator, wasn't it?
It happened so fast, honestly. It's kind of like you can't even breathe fast enough for it to happen. It just flashes by your screen, and you're like, am I still straight? You know what I mean? You would look through your window, and you're just like, is it still straight? Because I was like, make sure I'm not going through the grass or something. So by then, once I saw it was straight, my wheel didn't even move when he came across like that, because I'm just holding this tight, just stay straight and just hope this thing gets back to the line first. So.
Well, and it absolutely did. So congratulations on that win, Paul. You won stage 2. You won the race. That's about as good a night as you can ask for 42 cars at Talladega. And as always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, stage 2, and I got P2 in stage 1 too. So almost swept it, but that was pretty close. But I was helping Cox get that stage win there too. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody at BMP, BSMO Performance. Everybody there, we work so well together, and it's just it's a great bunch of guys. I too many of them to name, but all of them, they know who they are. But also I'd like to thank Sim Sport Gadget for 3D printed sim rig accessories. Also Martin Sports. I use their gloves exclusively, and I think anybody's in this sim, get those. They're great gloves to have. And I want to thank you and everybody that's come on, and Barry for what he does for this league and everybody. And I want to thank you guys for coming on, and y'all have done a great job since you've got here. So I just want to say how much we appreciate everything you've done too.
There you have it. There's your winner, Paul Gallimore. Congratulations, Paul. And I cut him off. All right, well, let's talk to your second place finisher, Kenny Coppola, in that number 77 machine. Missed last week, but back this week. Kenny, man, what a great run. You kind of were around pretty much the whole race, and then there at the end got a big push to your teammate and able to push him to victory. Did you have any opportunity? Did you have any desire to maybe try to pull out and take that victory from him, or were you pretty much locked in the whole time?
If it was other circumstances like a playoff race or something, I probably would have tried to jump out and raced him. But considering he's my teammate, we all work together on setup, spend a lot of time together. I picked him up 4 car lengths back on the backstretch and told him I'm wrecking us or we're winning. So I grabbed him and pushed him to the finish line.
Well, I mean, y'all worked together all race long. I mean, that whole team was really really strong, and at super speedways you have to have that to get victories. I feel like, and there at the end, I mean, you had to feel really really good whenever you saw that top line sort of disperse, and you had to feel like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna lean on him and push him on by. But I mean, in the middle of the race, those first 2 stages, kind of reflect back on those. I mean, that was some wild races, some of the wildest I've seen at Talladega. Were you expecting it to be that crazy, that wild, just for for stage wins?
I actually made a setup change and changed my steering pinion after I gridded, so I missed the start of the race. Almost went a lap down and got lucky with a caution 3 seconds away from the leaders, but it was mostly just riding. And yeah, it gets crazy here, especially in this league. Everybody's pretty darn good, has good car control, so 3, 4, even 4 wide sometimes is pretty normal, especially 5 laps left in the stage. Everybody wants those stage points, and that was a great race, I thought.
Yeah. Well, it definitely was. It was a lot of fun up here, and you were able to get a second place, pushing your teammate to the victory. Man, congratulations on that second place finish, and who you got to thank here tonight?
Just want to thank my wife for letting me get out here, hang out with a bunch of my buddies and race Wednesday nights. My sponsors, Kistler Rods, Boomer Button Boxes, Martin Sports. Want to thank Warrior Wraps, Team Watson Racing, all the guys at Beast Mode Performance Racing. We do a lot of work together in racing. And then want to thank Barry for putting the league on, and finally want to thank you for putting on the awesome broadcast for us to go back and watch after these things.
Well, all right. Well, man, definitely appreciate that. Congratulations again on second place. That's Kenny Coppola, who comes home in second here tonight. Well, we got our third and final driver that we're going to talk to, and we've already talked to him here tonight. That's Jordan Schmeets, probably my favorite last name to say, as you guys were ready to go on that final run to the finish, and Kenny Coppola locks bumpers with Paul Gallimore and pushes him, and you were right there with him. You said you were going to push your buddy Matt Cox. Y'all kind of got in the middle there. Talk me through that last little restart. You and him got in the middle, just couldn't go anywhere. Talk me through that a little bit as y'all got close to the end.
Yeah, I didn't know. It seemed like third place kind of bumped. I can't remember who the leader was now. Out to the lead, and we just got a late start, and we fell 3 cars back, but we got moving again, and just plan didn't work out like it never does. And just went where the run was and stayed there. I think I was pushing Kenny, and he was pushing Paul 3 deep out of 2. I wasn't lifting at all, so I'm just glad we all made it through that.
Well, you made it through it, no problem, and you come out the other end now. Now, Jordan, you're sitting pretty far down the standings. I haven't looked at all the races that you run, but the last couple weeks have been fairly decent. You've had a lot of speed. Talk me through the next few races for you. Do you feel confident about trying to work your way up the standings? You're sitting 13th right now. No wins yet, but you're in the playoffs. How you feeling about the next few weeks trying to jump up in standings?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna keep moving up slowly. I haven't had very good luck at all. Got a bunch of junked cars, haven't finished races, missed a race, and that was completely opposite of last year. I think last year, the first 15, 10, 12 races I ran, the worst finish was maybe 7th. So we'll get that consistency back and keep moving up, and just keep trying for a win.
Well, third place finish at Talladega is a great way to start that off. So definitely looking forward to probably talking to you at the end of these races moving forward. Well, congratulations on a third place finish. As always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Just everybody on BMP, man. We all help each other out throughout the week so we can have the fastest race cars we can get into and share information with each other. And those are the best team in iRacing as far as I'm concerned. So thank all those guys.
All right, but there you have it.
And
Third-
thank you for doing such a badass job with these races, even though you're by yourself. It's probably the best broadcast I've heard. So.
Oh, well, we definitely appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words from everybody. And that's Jordan Speech, your third place finisher. And boy, that is man. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you don't like that, something's wrong with you. That was a lot of fun. You look at that cup racing on Sunday, what they're doing in real life versus what we got here. It's a totally different ball game. So, man, just an incredible race. I gotta say, one of the best plate races that I've seen in a while on iRacing. Usually they're not that good. I think the level of drivers that you're seeing here, the talent here is just that good. They put on a really, really good show. Well, got to take a look at your results, see where everybody finished. A lot of excitement, a lot of disappointment through this field. But look at that, 39 lead changes. That don't tell you how exciting it was. I don't know what. Wild. 6 cautions on the night. Of course, 2 of those were stage cautions, so 4 cautions. That's pretty good. I mean, we had 33 at Martinsville, so we'll take it. We're making up for that right now. These guys are definitely making it happen. We talked to you top 3. Justin Belmont able to recover and come away with a 4th place finish. He was up there all night long. Darren Mullins in 5th. Jameson Middle Miss, I saw him. He was completely out of the pack before that final caution. Here he is coming home in 6th. Matt Cox in 7th. Dean Motley in that 8th position. Those guys started way the heck back. 41st for Dean Motley. Chris Davis comes away with a 9th place finish, and Sean Kaltenbach comes away with 10th. 11th going to be Darren Mills. He was one of those drivers there at the front on the last lap. On the back stretch, he was running 3rd. Comes home in 11th. That's how quickly things can change. Caden Norfrey comes home in 12th. Nicholas Atwood comes home in 13th. Brandon Fetterplace in 14th. Hunter Carmichael in 15th. Chris Spear in 16th. Kyle Holden in 17th. Shane Davis 18th. Barry Sanders in 19th. And Randy Mullins rounds out your top 20. This is where it gets disappointing. Lots of good drivers from here on out that just had issues and went at least 1 to multiple laps down. Blaine Wilson was up front all race long. Comes home in 21st. Jeffrey Taylor, talking about him being there at the end, and he got caught up in that, I think, last lap melee. Comes home in 22nd. Jeff Carson in 23rd. Matt Mackin, 24th. Johnny Shade in 25th. 26th is John Bender. And 27th, Ed Bowles Jr. Tim Wortman Jr. in 28th. 29th, Garrett Crawford. Aaron Matthews rounds out your top 30. 31st is Matt Medler. Nick King in 32nd. Jared Clark, 33rd. Brendan Bikey in 34th. Warren Young, 35th. Nigel Christensen in 36th. Alex Coffey, your points leader. Tough night for him. He's going to give up that points lead most likely after a 37th place finish. Paul Whitley in 38th. Derek Pemberton in 39th. Ryan Huff in 40th. And then Derek Jacobs and Steven Gibson are going to round out the rest of the field. Well, alrighty. Well, that's going to do it for Talladega. The stands are emptying out. They're all running to their parking spot, cutting each other off, flying down the shoulder, trying to get out on the Speedway Boulevard, and they're heading out of here. Want to thank the sponsor for this evening, Deez Lug Nuts Podcast, for the Deez Lug Nuts Podcast 300. And, of course, OB Builders for their sponsorship of the Cup Series. I'm Eddie Smith, man. It's been a blast here tonight. I want to thank everybody that puts in work here at Moonshiners Racing League. And I want to thank Adam Baker and Bradley Cooper over at V-Speed for the work that they do. It is a lot of fun to call these races, and this one's just another example. It's only gotten better. It started off with Martinsville, and it was a lot of PMs and messages from guys going, sorry, we're not always like this. And look, I know I've been around this game since 2009. I know what it's like. I know what it's like at Martinsville. You don't have to tell me sorry, because this is what I'm going to get if I stick it out. And this is a great race at Talladega that delivered in all fronts. It was just amazing. What a great race. Looking forward to next week. Speaking of next week, let's take a look at your schedule. We've got Talladega there at the top in the middle. And boy, one of my favorite treks of all time, Dover. We got my three favorite tracks coming up: Dover, Kansas, and Darlington. And my goodness, what a stretch of races. I cannot wait to call those. Those are going to be exciting. If you want to see something fast, you want to see something scary, there's nothing like to drive a race car on a roller coaster, and that's what Dover is like next week. So May 1st, come check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I'm Eddie Smith. We're out of here. Y'all have a good one. Check us out on V-Speed. If you're not subscribed to V-Speed Racing Network, which is what you're watching right now, go ahead and subscribe. What does it do? I don't know. But if we ever go live on another show, maybe you check on and see if when we go live for your broadcast, you'll see it. Maybe we post a couple videos that are kind of cool. Maybe there's videos on there you haven't watched yet. Go check them out. Maybe you like them. I don't know. I put a lot of work into them. I'd like for people to see them, so go check them out. Then go over to V-Speed, the main channel, and check those guys out. They do a great job. A lot of work goes into those broadcasts. We try to knock them out of the park. And I think those guys at V-Speed do a great job. So, all right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. Dover, going to be a fun one. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you later.